I put myself kind of in a corner here, literally, because by explaining this, if I don't, I will literally wander around the entire room. I have these lot of hand motions, so bear with me, because I don't have a dry erase board to explain exactly how I particularly see time, and a lot of other people that may be classified as having apeirophobia. Again, I don't like using the terminology, I like using the word eternalist instead. So, an eternalist, or apeirophobic, whatever you want to call it. If we don't see time basically in a linear fashion, like from a point A to a point B, the universe have a beginning, to the universe basically absolves itself of whatever, or runs out of energy, or however you want to call it, an end. All right, that's traditionally how time is seen by the general population. It's also probably how time is easiest computed mathematically for a lot of individuals at the same time. So you have a point A and you have a point B. Now, which makes sense, and maybe you may have some exceptions to the rule here and there with speed, time, space, and dimension. Fine. But we know how everyone else sees time. How does an eternalist see time? Or we could say apeirophobic. And this is kind of an adjunct, or I should say a little bit off the beaten path. This doesn't really help the individuals deal with, actually I take it back, it does, but in a different way help with the fear or panic of the sensation of eternity. So keep in mind though, it is important because it may help you get past it. All right, eternalists. So we don't see time as linear. There is no point A, point B. It's kind of a mishmash or whatever it is. To use a word I don't like, it's kind of like New Age-ish. We see time, or at least I see time, or those who have gotten to the point which I'm at, see time as a cosmic consciousness. Now you go, oh, now it sounds New Age-ish. No. Think of your memory. Think of the way you think. All right, now since eternalists don't see beginnings and ends because we have a hard time conceptualizing a universe without a beginning, even though tangibly we know it exists, we just don't feel it. Eternalists need to feel it. But we do feel existence without end. So we do feel existence continuing, but don't feel, because we determine this massive desire to feel the concept of an existence without a beginning. All right? So this is how we see it. Cosmic consciousness. All right, time to us doesn't appear to be in a linear fashion. Very much like, again, your memory. When you pull a memory from your head, you don't pull it in a linear fashion. You don't go step by step. Oh, I want to think what I was doing when I was 6 years old. So I'm going to go back from today every single day until I get to past point of 6. That's a linear way of thinking of time. But the universe to us, and again, this is how we see time, is not linear. Obviously, how can you be a linear universe when you have no beginning and you have no end? And you have intersections and things like that. We see the universe's view of time as literally like memories. Everything that happens in existence happened. All right, we're not trying to say it left a trail or whatever it is, or some sort of energy impact. It happened. So once it happens, it is always there, or it always has happened. And you could say, well, the past event has obviously lost its impact on the future. That's inconsequential. To an eternalist, the event occurred, and therefore it always is. So the universe, we believe, in many aspects, sees time much as we do. Remember, you have existence and time. Time, again, is our perception. Time to the universe materially, whether it be the half-life of plutonium, the half-life of an epithelial skin cell, the half-life of a ball of carbon. Whatever it is, everything around you has a perception of time. It doesn't have to be a conscious perception as we perceive humans. So the universe, regardless of how you see it, every bit of matter in that universe has a perception of where it stands in regards to other elements' perception in the universe, except thought and memory, which is totally non-linear. The universe, in regards to time, is not linear. It is much like memory. It is much like pulling up a hologram. It is much like whatever. It is not, I have to go from point A to point Z, but I have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, I can go basically F to B, B to Z, whatever it is. It is a universal consciousness, but I'm not saying sentient. I'm just saying existed. And therefore, basically, that's how we see time. Now, you can have questions, well, if time intersects and, if you don't see time as being linear, can you go back in time and change the course of history? According to how we tend to rationalize it as an eternalist, maybe so. You could change the perception of what occurred in the past, but you can't change what happened in the past. That's the difference to a lot of us. I hope you kind of get an idea of what we see as far as basically this very important aspect of how time exists within existence. Keep in mind, existence and time are two separate things altogether. Time being perception, existence just being. All right, again, I'll go more detail later on, but just gives you something to think about in regards to how people of our kilt, so to say, tend to see events in time in the future in a little bit different way than traditionally the general public. Again, time to us is like a universal memory, an imprint. It is inconsequential in which order you pull up those events. But all perception may not necessarily agree with which order you pull up those events. For example, without going too much into detail, I thought you were going to end it there for a second. If you were a time traveler and you go back in time and you shoot Hitler and thinking you're going to save the universe, you get him before he would try to enroll in architectural school or whatever it is, that's fine. You may have done that. But however, does it really change time? Unless you change the perception of every other element that is around that event. Again, Ralph Turchiano, hope this helps. This is just a brief primer on how we see it. There's so much more, but man, it can get boring if I keep on going. Thanks once again.